Welcome to Dental Unscripted. Where Mike Dinzio and Paula Quinn break down the practice ownership journey, one episode at a time. Starting up, buying, and running a successful dental practice.
What up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Dental Unscripted. It's Michael Dinzio and Paula Quinn. Whoa, getting crazy with the mic this morning. Hey guys, we're back. We're back and happy to be back. Broadcasting on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and YouTube, all the things. So wherever you're catching us, thank you for subscribing and joining and being part of the show. We are going to be talking all things consulting today, really the value of consultants and where people struggle, where people thrive and how they thrive with the help of their advisors and kind of breaking all that down. And so we're super excited about this episode. Paul and I are just going to break it down, all the things that we get into. But before we do that, a little housekeeping. If you're listening to this on Startup Unscripted, and also Dental Acquisition Unscripted, you need to jump over to our new program called Dental Unscripted, simply Dental Unscripted. That's where all of these are going to be going to in the future. So if you like our content, you want to jump over to that one and stay there. New brand and a new fresh kind of take on things as we are going to dig into more of the practice management stuff, not just startup stuff and acquisition stuff, but also how to run a good, solid dental practice. And we're excited to do that. Before we get into the episode, though, I do want to give a shout out to our sponsor of today, of CandidPro. As you can see the stuff behind me, I got the sweater on. I'm totally giving them vibes today. If you guys don't know about CandidPro, they're an amazing company. I want to share the fact that they have given us a special offer for our friends, and you guys are considered our friends, our listeners, our clients, all the things, all the people that surround Next Level and this program. But the viewers, listeners who sign up through the link below, it's a custom link that you got to go through, but you literally can get the gold tier for 6 months. And that gold tier has incredible savings. They're giving you guys a new provider bundle. I think it saves you like over 30% on your first few cases. And if you're trying to get into ortho, man, this is the way to go. They have a lot of support in the back end. We had a whole episode about all of this literally a minute ago, so check that episode out. But I think they've got a cool, fresh take on things, and they're making some noise in the market. And anyways, we thank them for sponsoring today's episode. So I guess without further ado, hey, Paula, I want to say hi.
I mean, goodness, I've been here for 10 minutes.
Well, we got all this stuff to talk about. But that's out of the way. Let's start the program.
Okay.
But it's good. It's good to see you this morning.
Yeah. You too.
I was just thinking, why not have an episode about how consultants might get bad raps? Some consultants might get good raps, and why, right? Because there's a lot of noise around, well, consultants are too expensive and you can just use Facebook chat groups and get all the answers yourself. And even this podcast, you guys are getting a lot of answers on it, but it just kind of skims the surface. And a lot of you, I think, see the value of a consultant, but I think people shouldn't hire us sometimes when they do hire us. And I also see when clients hire us when they're all in and what that looks like. And I think we should have an honest conversation about it because I think everybody needs help. And I know you've talked about that a lot. So would you like to share, Paula, how you even on your personal life, how I think you've asked for help and used it and probably got value out of it and maybe didn't in other ways? I think
My
Um,
personal life, like therapy.
well, you don't got to go down that road. It's not a therapy session. No, but you had a coach for a minute. I know you got a
Yeah.
lot of good stuff out of it. I think.
Well, I would even say when I was opening my practice, you were instrumental. Like I know that's opening a practice and not practice management, but you were also my business partner, so you were there for some of that as well. And I think I leaned on you a lot for accountability. And then as for just like a life coach, I've had a coach before. I think, it's two things for me. I think it's breaking it down in simple increments so that you can follow, because we get sucked up by life and all the things that are happening. And then I think it's someone that brings you back to it so they hold you accountable. So both are cool because it's compartmentalizing one thing at a time or two things at a time, which helps.
Mhm.
And then it's somebody driving those results or helping you stay accountable when on those specific topics. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you talk about fitness training all the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I was a fitness trainer. And I think, I use an example a lot, even in dentistry, but I think it's one of those things that you can read about fitness, you can read about food, you can read about what well, number one, you get conflicting information sometimes, which
Oh my
is
gosh.
who's really the expert and who isn't. So I think that's one thing. I think the second thing is you can read about it all you want, but it's implementing it. It's really putting it into practicality. And then, these, for instance, with dentistry, these poor dentists, not knocking them, but they don't go to managerial school. They don't go to business school. Some a little more savvy than others, but they go to dental school to
Mm-hmm.
learn to do a procedure. And then all of a sudden they inherit a team of lots of women usually, and some
Yes.
women and some are men. But still, women are a different, breed and work setting than men. And so they
Mm-hmm.
inherit these team members that they got to manage. And then they inherit this business that they've got to run. They
Yeah.
don't know how to run it. And worse is they don't have the time. They're in somebody's mouth cranking away, hopefully.
Yeah.
And so, a coach is great. A consultant is great because some of us, next level, definitely are very experienced, and we're very experienced in a lot of different, we have experts in a lot of different categories rather than me just being, a front office focusing on the front office things that I know. We've got a team of different experts that can help drive that. But I think that just having somebody there in your corner, holding you accountable, help holding your team accountable. And then when you don't know what you don't know, like what should I be focused on? Our
Yeah.
team of experts can lead you to that,
Yeah. No, what you said there, a lot of those things were getting all kinds of things thinking about in my brain or sparking where,
uh-oh.
like the,
Make fire come out of your head or
yeah, just sparks and, um, first cup of or no, this is second, but thank you for being part of the wake up. But I think a lot of people hire consultants for a lot of different reasons, right?
Mhm.
And I think wherever you need help is where you need help, and that's good for you, right? So if it's the hygiene department or the front office or buying a practice, I mean, everybody's got their reasons why they need help. They don't have the experience or whatever.
Mhm.
So the knowledge itself is like super valuable, of course, right? I think what you said about the accountability is something that we try to work on at Next Level a lot, because you can get a lot of information, and know the answer, but it's like you said, the gym, that if you want bigger arms, that you got to go do some curls, right?
Mhm.
That everybody knows that, but then it's like, how do you do it? And how often do you do it? And are you disciplined? And
You better throw your triceps in there or your biceps are going to get out of control.
Yeah, there's a holistic approach to it. Maybe you should start doing some shoulders and not just arms, you weirdo. It's kind of the bigger picture. And so I think, I don't think anybody can argue, some of the best performers in sports and in life have coaches. We even sought out help. We're consultants. We ask for help. We need help. We've only had the experiences that we've had. And I think that's what it comes down to it. I think the accountability is probably the number one thing of where these doctors I think could really benefit. So yeah, I mean,
I think you just said an interesting thing there too, is we only know from our experiences. And I think, that's a big thing in a dental practice too, is, let's just use front office, for example. It may be the only office that they've ever worked in, or they may have, they may have self-trained, or they may have learned from the front office before them. And let's be honest. I mean, it's been a while, but not that long since paper charts went away, since it's been digital.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
COVID put that on crack, right?
There's just different, there's so many best practices out there that you just may not know. And like the dentist, they're really busy too.
Right.
So those daily, weekly, monthly reports, keeping your eye on the ball constantly, making sure all that stuff happens, it is very systematic. And if you don't have standard operating procedures, if you don't have someone to teach you that, and then you don't have someone to hold you accountable, it's probably not getting done, and you may not even know it.
I love that. Man, I always say to some of my clients, like, gosh, I really wish there was a consultant for consultants, like a specialty for coaching me. Like, I wish we had that. Like, sometimes I have questions about how I want to scale, or how you and I, as the owners of Next Level, how we should do things. And I have to talk to a CPA, an attorney, my buddy, my friend. And then I get all of these like data points, and then I have to make sense of it all and then put it into my terms. And that's hard to do a little bit.
Yeah.
We're dental consultants. This is all we do. And there's a lot of us out there, dental consultants, right? And there's some great ones. There's probably not some good ones out there, but literally this is all we do: eat, breathe, sleep, dental consulting, And so there's absolutely value there, because we, like Paula said, if you're a good consultant, you've seen hundreds of dental practices and how they do it, best practices. And by the way, not every way is the same for every practice. We coach Medicaid, we coach high-end big procedure folks, surgeries, specialists. Ortho's totally different than GP. Pedo's totally different than GP. So like everybody's different and has to do it differently. And anyways, so
Right.
I guess that kind of brings up the next topic, and that is like, this was like the meat and potatoes of the program. I think asking you and me, like, why shouldn't you hire a consultant, or when shouldn't you, how do I say this? When not to hire a consultant, like, and I'll ask you, Paula, like, have we ever brought in a client? I'm going to softball this up to you here. Have we ever onboarded a client and you're like, dude shouldn't hire us?
Never.
Dude shouldn't have hired us.
We
don't even want to take the money.
Sometimes we know before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, when you're not ready, I know that sounds dumb, but don't hire.
But what do you mean by that? Yeah. What do you mean? Well, I mean, that's exactly it.
Yeah. When you're not ready to listen, when you're not ready to trust, when you don't want to make the time, because you can make the time. So I think, let's just go back to the gym, right? Like, you're going to hire a trainer and never show up at the gym, not take your hour 4 times a week. You're not going to listen to them. You're not going to eat what they tell you to eat. You're not going to lift the things that you're just going to say, no, I don't. No, I think my way is better. I think, I think my last trainer was better, or I have this app.
Or I read this book. Yeah. App. Yeah, an app.
Yeah. I have this app that shows me how to do it, or you know, I came in with my wife last week and she looks good, you know, whatever it is, you know, it's when you're not ready to listen, you know, it's probably going to lead in. I'm going to try not to lead in. I don't know where this is going, but I just kind of keep talking. And I think,
No, it's exactly what I'm thinking
yeah,
not listening or not trusting is.
yeah. And
And
that's
by the way, trust, you always say trust has to be
earned.
not just given. And I get
But I
that.
think there's some level that you've got to relinquish it because it can take a while for depending on your behavior style, your personality, it can take a while to earn somebody's trust. Some
Right.
people trust immediately and then you have to lose their trust, and some people don't
Mhm.
trust and you've got to earn their trust. So I think when
Mhm.
you hire a consultant, you have to be willing to change your perspective and you have to just trust. You have to trust the process, trust the system. It would be like, let me think about it. Geez, we keep talking about the gym, but even that, like, I'm going to go in and say, I don't know. You want me to lift 20? Like, I'm thinking 5 pounds is good. And you want me to do 12 reps? I'm thinking 15 or two. Like, you have to say, this person's an expert.
Mm.
I've hopefully did a little research or were referred or I'm in enough pain. I'm just willing to give it a try. I have to trust that they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't, right? I'm a dentist. Like you said, I've listened, I've been on podcasts and things. I have some ideas, but the implementation, the follow through, you know, we do this all the time when we're coaching. They'll say, you know, my hygienists aren't performing. Okay, I'm just going to use it as an example. Well, why aren't they performing? Do they have the tools in their toolbox? So we start always, not always, but typically we're starting with the front of the house.
Mhm.
Do they have the information on, let's say, the frequency of even hygiene appointments to say, I would like to bring you back sooner. Now people will say, oh, it shouldn't matter. You should bring them back whenever they want. Yes, but you do have a real life person in front of you saying, well, is my insurance going to pay for it? And da 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 da. So I think just having the information, and this is probably a bad example because we talk about gingival therapy all the time, gingivitis therapy, and offices say it doesn't work, it fails me, we're not going to use it. It's because they're not set up appropriately. They don't
From
understand.
the front.
Well, some of it's from the front, a lot of it's from the front, and that's what I'm talking about is you've got to understand you've got a split minute to make a decision on where you're going to go with this patient. And without that knowledge, you have two choices. You're either doing the wrong procedure or you're rescheduling them because you don't have that at your fingertips. It comes with the front hand giving them that knowledge on that part, but it also, I mean, I don't want to go off into a hygiene tangent, but half
No, you
half of them
already are. You already are. Let's
don't
go.
even know what that code is. They don't even know that it exists, and the benefits of it. So right there, a hygiene, or not even a hygiene consultant, a consultant, two things we're going to bring is we're going to bring a systematic approach to make sure, you know, and that's just one example that the hygienists are set up for success to do the procedures that they need to do that ultimately bring more money to the practice and take the very best care of the patient,
Right.
but also teach them things that are out there that they don't even know are out there unless they happen to stumble upon a continuing education course of that. So
Which by the way, these continuing education, let's just not to go on that rampage, but you go to these CEs, you go to these trade shows, and it's all the same crap. I mean, it's all the same courses. Even you said the other day that you're going to go and you're like, I know staging and grading. Like, I mean, come on. How long has staging and grading been out? You think you told me like
2017 or 18, I'd have to.
come on, like you guys, you
Oh,
haven't
no,
heard, you
no,
haven't heard that course yet? Like, how
no,
is the,
no, they haven't.
like, come on. Yeah, that's a different issue, but like the reality is and consultant can bring this newer stuff to the table, but again, bringing it back to when not to is when you're not ready.
Yeah,
When
you just, I think you have to trust, at least for a while. I think you have to make the time, and I think you have to be willing to Michael, we've talked about this before, and I'll let you elaborate on this, but it's like parenting 101. You have to back up the consultant, or then the team's not going to trust.
I was just going to go there. Like,
go there.
I'm like, I don't know how many times we've come in, they're having a problem. We put a solution in, multiple solutions in front of them. We get a commitment from the team, which is all the right things to do, right? Throw out a couple options, get buy-in from the team. My camera's going crazy. Hey, where you going? Right? And all these things. And
you're like off the...
I know, I'm letting it reset.
Oh.
And then after the meeting, the doctor comes over, or after the meeting says, is that going to be okay if we do that? Susie at the front. Like, what do you mean? Why are you asking them if it's okay? Like, do you own this business or not? And so it's kind of funny and interesting that, like, I think I get it. Then business owners are afraid to mess things up, but you just have to remember
team member, or yeah.
I mean, why would you lose a team member for introducing something new? Like what? Like, and if you did, goodbye, see you later. Like, I mean, that's easier said than done, but
well, it is. But then, so you're just gonna let your business
run itself,
mediocre, or
that's right. So if you're not willing to hold your team accountable, or ask them for change and ask for help and drive it and hold them accountable, then don't hire a consultant again, because we can't be in the office 100% of the time. We always kind of get that client that thinks we're going to literally run their business for them after they hire us. It's like, no, man, you don't pay it. I'm sure there's some consultants that actually have that program. They're going to be way more expensive. I would say the average consultant is going to get
clients because they.
Yeah, exactly. That
consultant has a lot of time and
basically.
And aren't we, we're there to empower them to become business owners. I don't want, as much as I, love being a part of our clients' practices and their team and stuff. And I always hate when we lose one. And I'm always happy to stay on forever if we're moving on to new things. But what I don't want is like me be the one in there doing those things. I want to empower the dentist to be a leader and a business owner, and at some point only need us if they're adding associate, they're adding technology, they're buying another practice, they maybe there's just another growth. It's time for another growth period.
Level up.
I was going to say something, but I totally forget now.
Well, I mean, we kind of switched topics midway here, and it's why does consulting, why does it not work? And we already talked about it. Like, when not to hire someone is when you're not ready to make change, hold accountable, dig in, put some energy into running your business and not having it run you. I'll say that again. If you're not ready to run your business, don't hire a consultant. They're not going to run your business for you. They will tell you how to, give you better ways to do it, more efficient, all the things. But if you're not ready to start running your business, don't even hire someone.
I know what I was going to say real quick, though. Can you hold that thought? Because this is on that. I feel like we find, Michael, that teams usually looking for this.
They are.
It's
ironic, yeah.
They want the systems, they want the knowledge, they want where do they stop and someone else starts and things like that. So I do think, even though sometimes we do get resistance at first, I feel all in all, 98% of our clients, like they not only does the dentist want this, but I do think the team wants it. They like to have that advocate in the practice too.
I mean, we've been in hundreds of offices at this point. Let's be honest. Out of the 6 team members, one of them doesn't want it. The other 5 do. That's usually how it works. And all of you listeners that own your practice or will soon own, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. There's always one. And guess what?
It's probably what's holding them back from calling.
And that's the one. That's what, exactly.
Because they're
exactly.
like, oh, she's not going to like it.
But ironically, that's the one that makes it so painful to change, so painful to train and incorporate new things. It's holding the practice back. The rest of the team thinks maybe that person is holding the practice back, or grouchy or grumpy or whatever. But I always find that, like, most of the team members want it except for one, and that business owner's scared to, quite frankly, have a conversation. Hey, are you on the team or are you not? So yeah, you're right, Paula. They do want it. Now they'll fight to protect their system, their way. But then once they understand why their way is from 1970 and that there's a 2020, 23, 24, 25 option,
where are you?
I know how to go through the progressions there. Then they figure it out, usually. But anyways, yeah, no, I love that. Let's flip through to, like, okay, so that's why you might not want to hire a consultant, and when you might not be ready, and then not having that trust. We talked about it, and I actually, I was going to say it. You said hold the thought, and then it came back.
Oh,
I do always say that, like, you got, like Paula said, and I'll say in a different way, you got to back your consultant until you don't. Or advisor, for that matter, forget consultant. Back your advisor until you don't. Meaning, like, when you're talking to your consultants and you're coming up with the strategy and the plan to the team, it's like mom and dad. It's like, mom and dad have to be so dialed, because if your kiddos crack the foundation, and dad gives in, it's over. It's absolutely
then
over.
what happens? What happens?
Yeah, then the kid runs amok, and then fights happen, and all the things. And so it's no different in dental offices. You have to back your consultant until you don't. To the day that you fire them, if you fire them, let them go, whatever, part ways. The day before, you were all in on it, because your team, if they get mixed messages, nothing will happen, and you're wasting your money on us. Facts. But let's talk about, like, instead of the doom and gloom stuff, like, at this point of the program, like, no one would hire a consultant because we've talked them out of it. That's okay, actually. That's actually, isn't that the goal? Like, don't hire a consultant unless you're ready.
Yeah.
But if you are ready, what could happen? And that's, I guess that's when the magic happens. What can happen when you follow and trust, Paula? Like, what have you seen in your career, and what are some things that our best clients did that helped them grow? Some of their behaviors and the benefits that you're thinking. I'm thinking a few, but go ahead.
Well, I think the first thing is you might learn something you didn't know, right? If you just hire and trust and open arm and listen, you might actually learn something. The next thing is you might actually grow.
Yeah, you will.
No, I know. I'm just saying, actually, you might. No, I think that is when there's an alignment there. The sky's the limit. I think the team becomes rock stars. They start loving their job because there's guidance and accountability and goals to work toward. I think that makes anybody feel good. They feel helpful. They feel invigorated, empowerment in their positions. I think that's what's great for the team. They see the doctor as an amazing leader. They want to follow. And then I think the dentists themselves, they get, the hardest over the years, what I've heard is I would own a practice forever if it wasn't for team. The dentistry is the easy part, right? So I think just we hire a team for a reason. They say it takes a village, but team together, everybody achieves more. This is why we hire experts in each area to make our job easier. And when they don't know, or they're not following a system and they're just running around like crazy people doing the things that they do all day.
Yeah.
Do we make it through? Absolutely. Can we make it through our day? Sure. but are we all exhausted? Did anything really get accomplished? And are we growing where we want to grow? It doesn't typically happen. You don't just trip up on running a marathon or becoming a bodybuilder or becoming, whatever expert, a famous, a NBA player. You don't trip up on that. You have a talent, you hire a coach, they show you where to focus, you grow, and then you become an expert yourself. So I think that what can happen is whatever you want. You tell us your goals, you tell us your vision, and we'll get you there. So
well said. Well said. Everybody has their own. What's that? What's that?
Drop the mic.
Oh gosh, be careful with that thing. No, like it's exactly absolutely right. We've seen clients just get their time back with their family. We've seen clients grow 30% year over year. We've seen our buyers buy practices and they just duplicate exactly what the seller did, which is exactly what they wanted. Foundation, stabilize, make the same money they did. All kinds of stuff. We've seen people take on Invisalign, or not Invisalign, but a line like therapy, clear line of therapy, when they had no ortho, and they get into it and they add new disciplines and new technologies. All kinds of stuff. It just really depends on what the client and you all are looking for, and the more you communicate that, the more you hold yourself accountable, the more clear your coach understands your goals, the more all of that, it makes it possible. You go into that gym, you talk to the trainer and you say, these are my goals, and hold me accountable, and you follow it to a T. Fun things happen. I love when our clients drive us crazy. I mean, I mean that. I mean, it's, sure it can be a bit much sometimes. Absolutely. It's part of the job, right? But like, I always imagine that, if I hired a consultant, and like, I would just be all over them too. Like I would want to just soak it all up. I would be in their face. I would be not missing any meetings. I would be doing all the things. I'd be trying it all. If it didn't work, fine, whatever. At least I tried, Sometimes I'm just blown away that that they hire us and then they don't trust or like, and that's how it goes. And we're speaking for all consultants, not just Next Level. This isn't just one big infomercial for Next Level consultants, but it's just like all advisors, all good, solid advice. This goes for that. So, any kind of last minute thoughts, concerns, questions on this topic? Anything you want to get off your chest, Paula? Now we can get into some therapy if you'd like, as an abused dental consultant.
No, I don't think so. I think, do your research. It's got to be someone you like. You're going to be working with them for a long time. I think the trust is huge, making the time, and just know, I mean, we say it all the time, whatever it costs, they should be growing your practice by that on a monthly basis. We should pay for ourselves. So I think that,
yeah, no, that's perfect.
No,
no final thoughts. We kind of drilled that.
I mean, yeah.
Well, I would like to thank CandidPro for giving us the opportunity to do this episode today. So thanks to them. Big picture, again, take advantage of this 30% savings, that gold tier pricing. We've got the link right there for the YouTube listeners. We'll have it down below in the descriptions. Don't miss out. And just learn about it. I think one of the best things that they have going, in my opinion, is if you're scared about getting into ortho and you're just nervous about the risk, you have an orthodontist like literally looking at everything you're doing, and that's cool. I don't know too many companies that give you that support, and these guys do that. So if you're thinking ortho could really boost your bottom and top line, check it out. Without further ado, again, guys, jump over subscribe to Dental Unscripted. Get off of the other two channels. We'll see you at a later date here on other cool and great content. And stay tuned. Thanks, Paula, again for your time today.
See you later.
See ya.
Thanks for listening. Let us know how you like the show. Rate us on Apple and Spotify. Subscribe and follow for more.